Here are some of the things I learned 4 years into starting my own pig farming business, and for that matter, livestock. And it is also a reason why, if you're a young person watching me, you have to also start a business or a livestock farm on your own. I learned the ability to delay gratification. Growing up, I was somebody who liked to rush things. I need to see things quick results. If I buy something today, the next day I want to get my money back. Okay, but once I entered into livestock farming like this, I learned that no, it doesn't work that way. I have to take my time, watch these animals grow, continue to feed, supply them with the feed, give them the water, give them medications, and monitor them as they grow. In pig farming, for instance, it will take you close to 7 months before you see your animals grow to a weight that you can sell for any appreciative amount. So all this process you're going through, it is building you gradually for a kind of to make you resilient, such that you don't rush to do things. And me also being able to delay this gratification and not also looking for instant satisfaction for myself, I've been able to avoid a lot of scams that I could have fallen into. But which I know most of my friends unfortunately fell for these scams and they lost some of their monies. I always ensure that the money I put in, I take my time, watch it grow as the animals also grow so that I get my money back from it. So it is something that I'm very grateful for, and I'm always happy that I started this livestock farming business. The next reason why I think you should also start your livestock farming business is also dealing with people. If you produce animals or you're a business owner, definitely you have people as your customers and you need to nurture them. There are some customers who are very aggressive. No matter what you do, they will never be pleased with what you do. And then you have to also take your time to explain certain things to them for them to understand themselves. So it gives you this kind of opportunity to develop your listening skills, listen to the complaints of people. Mostly through these complaints, you're able to refine your solution you're giving to them, and then you're able to better serve them. But if you don't have this kind of a relationship and the people who patronize your services, and you're always aggressive towards them, you see that you end up sacking all of them and they don't come back to buy from you again. So it is something that I have learned as a trait in this big farming business I started with, because I knew that if people are angry, if people's temper go up, you have to also calm down, listen to them, let them finish pouring out all their grievances. After that, you acknowledge that you have heard what they have said. So you then try to adjust whatever you have to provide for them in order to serve them better. So customer relationship and then dealing with people is also one of the things you learn. And dealing with people also, they also include your workers on the farm. If your farm is large such that it's not a job for you alone, but you intend employing people, definitely there will be about two, three, five, or five people, 10 people who will be helping you or assisting you in the farm. And with this, you have to know how to deal with them, handle them, and to care for them as a family. And it is something that I learned on my own when I started this business. And the next one is also about a problem solving skills. Like I just talked about the customer service, help people come out with complaints and you have to tackle it. In livestock farming like this, every day you encounter a new problem on the farm. And it's not a one solution fits all thing. There are some solutions you can apply them here and then at the same time here. But there are certain things you have to just learn them the hard way. So you have to be like a proactive person. Anything that happens, you already know how to tackle it. And sometimes you just have to learn it the hard way. You are there, it happens to you, you look around, no help, and then you have to apply some kind of wisdom just on the spot to ensure that you put things in place. I remember one time I was raising these animals and I didn't know. I allowed the piglet to stay with the sow for a long time. The sow became very weak after the piglet suckled her, and then she was losing weight, losing her strength, and even as she tried to get up, she fell to the ground, and I have to even assist her. So I didn't know what to do then. Like I said in these videos, I was the only one doing this pig farming in that area. So there was no kind of a way I can get somebody to help me with it. It pressed me that no, why don't I just release instead of allowing the sow to be in the pen? Why don't I release her to go outside the farm and then roam in the environment for like 2 3 days, and then I put it back into the room after I've weaned the piglet. So I weaned the piglet and then open the sow to roam in the environment, graze on what she wants to graze, and then come back to sleep. The next morning she leaves again, go out. So she kept doing that for about 4 days, and I realized that the sow has gained back all her strength and she's fit again for the next reproduction cycle. So it's something that I've also learned. You have to just apply it, like I said, it happens to you on the spot on the farm, and you have to apply your wisdom there to ensure that you don't mess things up. And again, being a young person, as you know, our time, if any little amount comes to your hand, you are the tendency to spend it quickly on material things. Buy this phone, buy these shoes, buy this clothing is always there. But as a livestock farmer, it has never been easy for me to deal with these issues. So for me, I know that every month this is the kind of money I need to take to the farm. So every time I am spending, I know that I have to keep this money no matter what. This money will be going to the farm. I have to keep it. I don't have to touch this kind of money, and there should be a sort of a buffer for me. And I compare my life to especially those of my mates within the same age group. I can see that especially those who don't have any business they run on their own and they rely on maybe employment and then their salary for survival. They spend it anyhow without even looking at what comes next or what. But to me, I know that I have to take this amount at the end of the month to their animals and then to pay the staff for to buy fuel or to buy anything to that will help to keep the farm going. So always the brain is open to emergencies and then saving some kind of money and being financially responsible for my act and not to overspend on unnecessary things or anything that is not related to the farm. And as you can see, me also I have this a mill in the village, and I also have this livestock farm also in the village. But one thing is, I don't mix the money for other side. If I take money from the farm and invest it into the mill side, if I make the money from the mill, I transfer it back into the farm. And the same thing I do for the farm and then the mill also interchangeably. I don't mix them. They all have where they're supposed to go. I document it. I took this amount from this side on this day. It must supposed to be transferred back into it on this day as stated. And that is what I've been doing. And no matter what you do, there's no way I'm going to spend the money that is reserved for my farm. I'll always keep it to invest it for the next month. And this is also something that I learned only after I started my pig farming business. And again, you become more responsible, like I said, very responsible in everything you do, especially financially. You become responsible and you also become responsible in terms of taking care of the people that work for you. You see them as your family and you don't treat them anyhow. And your animals too, you care for them. You don't want to see them suffer. You monitor their health regularly and you check to ensure that the feed they take is always high quality and it is providing for their nutritional needs. So all these activities and then the practices you're putting in place to you, you might not see it, but it is preparing you and making you responsible. So it is something that teaches you and prepares you for the next phase of your life as you go about your business. It helps you to be very, very responsible in every aspect of your life you're dealing with because you can't watch your animals starve. One thing is if you starve the animals, they don't give you the weight you need. And also mind you that it is the weight that you'll be selling based on. So if you don't feed your animals well and they don't also give you the weight, it is you, the farm, who is losing. The animals for them, they are there. No matter what, their time will be up and they will leave the farm. But the money you get from them, you will not be happy in the end. So it teaches you to be responsible, care for them, provide for them, and then attend to them as and when they need it. Again, farming also provides some sort of economic opportunities for you, especially if you're a young person like myself here. I graduated, I never sought any employment. Okay, but because I was able to also start something small on my own whilst I was on campus, I came home and I'm still pursuing the same thing, which is also providing for me, if not on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, I get something which is almost equivalent to if I was working in a company. So it is something that is also providing for me. And with this, I get to decide how much I give it to myself because I am running the thing myself. If I'm able to deduct this amount that goes into the business from what I'm supposed to keep for myself, like the profit, the part of the profit for myself, I can see that I can decide to take whatever amount I want to take from it, and the farm or the small business will still be moving on right. So it is something that has also helped me by helping me to also provide for myself, also provide for especially loved one around me financially, and it's pushing me. Though it's not that big, currently I can say it's making me feel comfortable in my skin, and I don't rely on somebody to give me the money at the end of the month. One thing that makes me happier is that I know how I make my money. I know that I don't go to work for anybody but to make that money. I make it by myself. I know where and how the money came into my hands and how it got into my pocket. Definitely. So that's one thing I'm always proud of. And to crown it all, starting this farm, usually every Christmas Day, that December 25th, December 26th, December thereabout, I do slaughter some kind of a particular animal on the farm, slaughter and then distribute to some households, selected households. And after doing this, I get to feel joy in myself because I see how happy those people were, especially most of these are less privileged and they are not financially that okay to spend on necessities like even food. So if I'm able to contribute and give them this meat from my farm that I produce myself, I slaughter and distribute to these people and I see them smile and then say some kind of words of encouragement to you, encourage you, thank you, praise you, and even bless you in the process. I feel happy to do that. And it is also one of the things that keeps me going because I always tell myself that so if I should quit today, next year who's going to sublimate to these people? And that is why I'm always doing what I'm doing, and I'm always putting in my best effort to ensure that my farm always sustains itself and is able to meet these people that are also in the society, so that I also keep getting their blessings as I contribute to the food security we have here. And you know what? You can never be dull on a livestock farm simply because you have to be walking up and down, feeding them, inspecting and working. Sometimes the boot you wear alone is very heavy. You try to lift your leg, it's not lifting. You're sweating, pushing some animals, and then trying to guide animals from one side to another. No, you're always active. So this one, you don't need to even go to the gym, but you always sweat on the farm from time to time. That is especially for those who are working on the farm themselves and not just supervising. Those who are working, so you're always active. You don't need to even think about any boredom moment. The moment you go to the farm, there's something for you to do, and it will help keep you physically fit and active as you go about your duty. So if you ask me what I learned or what farming has taught me, these are all things I can say I learned. It taught me to be patient with my investment and also taught me to delay gratification. And it also helped me to know how to care for people, especially with my customers and the people that work for me on my farm. They are all things I learned after I started this business. So livestock farming is not just a business, but it's a whole enterprise that if you take it serious, it's going to make and bring positive changes into your life as a young person, especially.